History is full of epic struggles, and today we're diving into one of the most intense wars for independence, the 80 Years' War. Get ready for a journey into the heart of rebellion, where nations clashed, kingdoms fought, and the fate of an empire was decided. But before we begin this thrilling adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to explore history's most iconic moments with us. Grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's dive into one of the longest wars in history. Ready? Let's get started. The 80 Years' War, which raged from 1568 to 1648, was a defining conflict that reshaped the political and religious landscape of Europe. At the heart of this war were the rebellious provinces of the Low Countries, today known as the Netherlands, who sought to break free from the rule of Philip II of Spain. What started as a struggle for religious freedom and autonomy turned into a prolonged and brutal war for independence. But how did a small collection of provinces challenge one of the most powerful empires in Europe? What was at stake for the Netherlands, Spain, and the rest of Europe? Let's dive into the war that would shape the modern world. The origins of the 80 Years' War can be traced back to deep-seated religious, political, and economic tensions. Philip II's reign was marked by his strict Catholic orthodoxy and desire to consolidate his power, which clashed directly with the growing Protestant movement in the Netherlands. The Dutch provinces, with their rising economic power and increasing Protestant sentiments, felt suffocated by Spain's iron rule. In 1566, a series of rebellious protests broke out, known as the Iconoclastic Fury, where Calvinist Protestants destroyed Catholic icons and churches. This act of defiance angered Philip II, who responded with a brutal crackdown, sending the Duke of Alba to the Low Countries to restore order. The harsh repression led to open rebellion in 1568, igniting the 80 Years' War. As the war escalated, the Dutch began organizing resistance under the leadership of William of Orange, who became the symbol of the revolt. Despite the might of the Spanish army, the Dutch provinces fought fiercely using their naval strength, innovative tactics, and knowledge of the terrain. The first major battle occurred in 1568, where the Dutch forces, though vastly outnumbered, achieved a victory at the Battle of Heiligerlee. This early triumph was a morale booster and symbolized the Dutch resolve. Soon, the Dutch were strengthening their positions, especially in key cities like Antwerp, which became a center of resistance. The Spanish, under the Duke of Alba, laid siege to cities and attempted to quell the rebellion, but the Dutch resistance was only growing stronger. While the battlefield was a crucial site of the conflict, the war also had a profound impact on religion and culture. The Dutch revolt was deeply intertwined with the rise of Protestantism, and it became a major battleground in the broader religious wars of Europe. As the war wore on, more and more of the Dutch provinces adopted Protestantism, and their desire for religious freedom became one of the war's central motivators. The Dutch, who had once been predominantly Catholic, saw the rise of Calvinism as a direct challenge to Spanish Catholicism. Meanwhile, the Dutch Golden Age began to flourish amidst the conflict, with artists and philosophers using the turmoil as inspiration for a new wave of creativity. By the late 16th century, the tide of the war began to turn in favor of the Dutch. The Dutch were able to exploit their superior knowledge of the waterways and their naval expertise. The capture of key ports and cities allowed them to break the Spanish blockade and disrupt Spain's supply lines. In 1581, the United Provinces declared their independence from Spain, but Spain wasn't ready to let go. The Dutch received crucial aid from foreign powers, notably England and France, who saw the conflict as a way to weaken Spain. The English Navy, under Queen Elizabeth I, clashed with the Spanish Armada in 1588, and the defeat of the Spanish fleet was a game-changer for the Dutch cause. In 1609, both sides agreed to a 12-year truce, which gave the Dutch the breathing room they needed to strengthen their position. During this period, the Dutch economy and trade flourished, and their influence in global trade began to rise. However, the war resumed in 1621, and it wasn't until 1648 that the war finally came to an end with the Treaty of Westphalia. This treaty not only secured Dutch independence, but also marked a turning point in European history, as it laid the groundwork for the modern system of nation-states. The 80 Years' War not only led to the birth of the Dutch Republic, but also had profound consequences for the rest of Europe. The war shattered the once dominant power of Spain and weakened its ability to control its vast empire. The religious conflict in the Netherlands also contributed to the broader Protestant Reformation, and the war accelerated the rise of Protestantism in Europe. The Dutch, having fought for their religious and political freedom, became a symbol of resistance against oppression. Their victory marked a shift in the balance of power in Europe, and the rise of Dutch economic and naval power would influence global trade routes for centuries. The conflict also shaped the future of European politics, as the Peace of Westphalia set the stage for the modern system of nation-states. Today, the legacy of the Dutch struggle for independence is remembered as a symbol of resilience and determination, and the war's outcomes would continue to shape the political and cultural landscape of Europe for centuries to come. The 80 Years' War was a pivotal moment in European history, one that changed the course of nations and reshaped the political and religious map of Europe. The struggle for Dutch independence not only gave birth to one of the world's most influential nations, but also marked the beginning of the modern era. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the 80 Years' War. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more untold stories from history's greatest conflicts.